Hello dear students, my name is Dr. Vaishali Ghai and the name of this channel is Tricks by Chemistry Guru. So today in continuation with chapter 2 class 11, we'll discuss about the quantum numbers. What quantum number is? First of all, let us discuss the definition. It is a set of 4 numbers with the help of which we can get the address of an electron. We can get location, where it is located, we can get the energy, orientation, spin, all these things we can get from these quantum numbers, from these sets of 4 quantum numbers. So what are these 4 quantum numbers? Let us discuss one by one. First we have is, the first quantum number we have is principal quantum number, and it is represented by n, small n. Now what is the role of this principal quantum number? What it tells us? So first thing is, it is required to explain the main lines of spectrum. It tells us about the main lines of spectrum. Then this is the requirement. Why it is required? So it tells us about the main lines of spectrum. Let me write. Sorry. Yes. Second thing is, it tells us about the shell, to which shell it belongs. It tells us about the shell in which the electron is present. Once we come to know the shell, from the shell we come to know the distance of electron, outermost electron with the nucleus. So we come to know the thing, one is shell, another is distance, and third is energy. Suppose if I am saying that electron is present in third shell, so its n value would be 3 in that case. Say electron is present, then in that point हमें shell पता है, yes it is in third shell, KLM, it is present in M shell. Second thing is, what I come to know is the distance from here to here, distance of electron in the outermost shell, that means valence shell, with the nucleus. Third thing, we come to know with the energy using the formula given by Bohr. So energy of shell can also be calculated. And most important thing is, we come to know the maximum number of electrons in that shell. Suppose it is third shell, so using 2n square, 2 into 3 square, we come to know, yes, how many electrons can we accommodate to the maximum. So this is how it tells us about these 4 things. Now it is represented by n, and its values always ranges from n is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4. That means any integer. N can be any integer. Okay, and it can also be represented by K, L, M, N shell. So this is about principal quantum number. So principal quantum number is represented by n. It tells us, it is required to explain the main lines of a spectrum, and it tells us about shell, distance of shell with the nucleus, energy of electron, that means related to that shell from the nucleus, then maximum number of electrons in that shell, and it is represented by either 1, 2, 3 or any integer, or it is represented by K, L, M, N shell. Second quantum number we have is azimuthal quantum number. We'll discuss azimuthal quantum number in detail. So first thing is, it is represented by small l. Second thing is, what does it tells us? So it explains about the fine structure or splitting in line spectrum. From the line spectrum, whatever be the fine structure we get, that is because of this azimuthal quantum number. So what does it tells us about? It tells us about the number of subshells. How? If I say that my shell is third, so subshell can be 3s, can be 3p, can be 3d also. So these are subshells. SPDF are the subshells that is present in any main shell. So once we come to know the subshell, we can find their relative energy also. Relative energy is in what manner? Like shells, we know that 1 is having lesser energy than 2 than 3. But when we talk about 3s and 3p and 3d, though, we come to know about the relative energy from this azimuthal quantum number, and definitely by SPDF we come to know about the shapes of orbitals. its value always ranges from 0 to n minus 1. That means if n is equals to 3, then L can be 0, 1 or 2. What does it represent? It represents L is equals to 0 is for S subshell. We write L is equals to 1 for P subshell. We write L is equals to 2 for D subshell. And we write L is equals to 3 for F subshell, and so on. So it means if I am saying that n is equals to 3, then L can have either 0, 1 or 2. 0 means S subshell, that is 3S. L1 means P subshell, that is 3P. And 2 means D subshell, that is 3D. L is equals to 3 is not possible if n is equals to 3. From this rule, this point, L is equals to 0 to n minus 1. Let us talk about another quantum number. So next quantum number is third quantum number, and it is named as magnetic quantum number, represented by M or sometimes by ML. Why it is required? What it tells? So it explains the splitting of lines in magnetic field. That means when we apply magnetic field, it gets split. These lines get split, and this magnetic quantum number tells us about the splitting of lines. What it tells us? It tells us about the number of orbitals. What are these number of orbitals that are present in any subshell? Suppose for S we used to draw only one orbital, for P we have 3 orbitals, for D we have 5 orbitals, and for F we have 7 orbitals. So these orbitals can be judged in terms of orientation by magnetic quantum number. So it tells us about the number of orbitals or the number of orientations of each subshell. And its value always ranges from minus L to plus L. So if I am saying that L is equals to 2, then the value of M would be minus 2, minus 1, 0, plus 1 and plus 2. How many total values are there? So total number of M is equal to 2L plus 1. So in the case L is equals to 2, it comes out to be 5. So D have 5 orbitals. And what are these values for these 5 orbitals? Minus 2 for this block, minus 1, 0, plus 1 and plus 2. Now we have specified, suppose electron is present in this orbital. It means I can just write M is equals to minus 1 and we come to know yes, electron lies in this orbital. And last we have is spin quantum number. Fourth quantum number is a spin quantum number, which is represented by S or MS. Why it is required? It also explains the magnetic properties of substance. It explains magnetic properties of substance. Whether it is diamagnetic, paramagnetic, so we come to know about their magnetic behavior. Okay. It tells us about the spinning of electron, whether electron spins in clockwise direction or in anti-clockwise direction. We all know that electrons spin in both the directions, clockwise and anti-clockwise. So if it is spinning in clockwise, we generally write it with plus half, and if it spins with with anti-clockwise direction, we write it with minus half. Though these are only the conventions, no specific thing. So for a particular value of M, we can have M is for any value of M, and S can be plus half or minus half. And these can be represented by putting arrows pointing upward or downward. Suppose I put this arrow and this arrow. An orbital can accommodate maximum of 2 electrons. So one explains that it goes clockwise and we represent it with plus half, and another represent with minus half. It says that they are spinning in opposite direction. One is clockwise and other is anti-clockwise. So this is how the quantum numbers tells us about the address of electron. Let us discuss one question and then I'll go to end this class. Say I'm having a compound electron. I would like to ask you the quantum number value of the last electron of chlorine. So first of all, I should know about the configuration of chlorine: 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. So 10 plus 7, 17. So I would like to consider the fifth electron in 3p orbital. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So this is the fifth electron, and I need to consider the distance, the location or the address of this fifth electron. So this is 3p5. So n for this comes out to be 3. L would be, L की value हमने ली थी 0, 1, 2, 3. So for P it is 1. M ranges from -1, 0, +1. So since this lies in this second orbital and thus it is 0. And S pointing downwards, so we'll write it with -12. Now the question is, find out all possible quantum number values for the last electron of sodium and magnesium. So write the answer in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe the channel.